The smoke coming out from under your hood doesn't smell like a car problem. It smells like your whole life just got more expensive. It's thick, sweet, chemical. Coolant burning on an engine block that picked tonight to die. You're on the shoulder of I-95 with your hazards blinking, cars flying past you like none of this matters. Because to them, it doesn't. To them, you're just another guy standing beside a dead Dodge Charger in a fake Supreme hoodie, staring at the hood like maybe shame can fix an engine. It can't. The fake carbon fiber trim inside is peeling. There's a gas station burrito wrapper in the passenger footwell. A crumpled final notice from the electric company is shoved into the door pocket. Your phone is in the cup holder. You don't want to look at it. You already know what it's going to say. You turn the key one more time. Nothing. Not a roar. Not a click. Just silence. The car is cooked. The loan isn't. That's the part they don't put in the commercial. Nobody tells you what it feels like to owe money on something that can't even get you to work tomorrow. Nobody puts that in the Instagram post. Nobody films that part in front of the dealership. You're not the king of the road. You're not a car guy. You're not a high-value man. Whatever aura points that car gave you last month, they're gone now. Every semi that passes sprays dirty slush on the last little piece of dignity you had left. You're a monthly payment standing on the side of a freeway. And right now, your pride is getting repossessed in real time. 6 months ago, this thing felt like an escape. Back then, you were standing on the greasy concrete floor at the Amazon warehouse, feeling invisible. Your life smelled like cheap laundry pods, old takeout, and that weird recycled air in an apartment where the heater sounds like it's trying to quit too. You were tired of pulling into work in a car that sounded like a box of coins rolling down the stairs. Tired of your friends making broke jokes at the sports bar. Tired of feeling like everybody else had a life and you just had a schedule. Clock in, clock out. Microwave something. Scroll. Sleep badly. Do it again. You wanted people to look at you once. Not even respect you. Just notice you. That was enough. And then the algorithm did what it does. It found the soft spot. It showed you some guy with a jawline he bought in Turkey, standing next to a matte black muscle car. He had the suit, the watch, the rental house driveway. The voice that sounds confident because nobody has asked him for proof yet. He said credit is a tool. He said average men drive average cars. He said, if you don't look successful, nobody will treat you like you are. And you sat there in your apartment at 2 a.m. eating something out of a plastic tray, thinking, maybe he's right. Of course he wasn't. The car wasn't his. The house probably wasn't his. The watch had return policy energy. But none of that mattered, because your life felt small, and that engine sounded big. So you told yourself this wasn't a bad decision. It was a transformation. You weren't buying a car. You were buying presence. That's how they get you. They don't sell transportation. They sell the version of you that walks into a room and doesn't feel poor. The dealership was on the edge of town. Faded flags, cracked pavement, a vending machine that eats quarters, a guaranteed approval sign that already feels like a threat. The salesman shook your hand like he was trying to wipe something off his palm. He didn't ask if the car made sense. He didn't ask if you had savings. He didn't ask what happens if the engine blows. He asked the only question that matters in places like that. How much can you afford a month? That sentence has ruined more lives than most people want to admit. Because you didn't see a $35,000 car with 80,000 miles and a service history that looked like a cover-up. You saw $550 a month. That's how broke people get sold expensive things. Not with the price, with the month. You started doing the math. If you picked up overtime, if you stopped buying lunch, if you ignored the student loan people for a little while, if insurance wasn't too bad, if nothing went wrong, you could make it work. And that's the problem. Every broke man has built an entire future on the words, if nothing goes wrong. The math wasn't mathing. It was screaming. But you signed anyway. A 96-month contract. 28 APR. 8 years. 8 years is long enough to become a completely different person. But the payment stays the same. By the time this car would actually belong to you, you'd be older, more tired, and probably still pretending the check engine light is just being dramatic. But when the salesman handed you the keys, none of that mattered. The engine barked. The hood shook. For about 5 seconds, you felt like you had finally beaten the broke allegations. So you drove off the lot like a man who had just purchased a new identity. The first month was beautiful. That's the worst part. Bad decisions almost always give you a honeymoon period. You pulled into the gym parking lot and saw heads turn. You left the keys on tables like they were jewelry. You posted the steering wheel on Instagram with no caption because you wanted people to ask. You took a girl to a mid-tier steakhouse with dark wood, 16 cocktails, and waiters who wear vests. You told yourself you were investing in your image. And the system loves that. It loves when a broke person calls spending branding. It loves when you buy things you can't afford to impress people who wouldn't help you make the payment. Then the real bill showed up. The first payment hit. Then insurance hit. And because you're a young guy with a high-performance car and a credit score that looks like a golf score, the insurance company treated you like a crash that hadn't happened yet. Between the note and the insurance, you were almost at $1,000 a month. That's not a car. That's a second landlord with rims. 2 weeks of warehouse shifts disappeared before you bought food. Gas started feeling personal. Every time you filled the tank, you could feel your checking account flinch. Your dinners became roller grill hot dogs from 7-Eleven, eaten over a paper towel on your mattress, while TikTok finance bros told you that scarcity mindset was the real problem. You weren't broke. You were cash flow challenged. That's what you told yourself. Because cash flow challenged sounds better than my car payment is eating me alive. Then the little things started. A weird noise when you turned left. A burning smell you pretended was coming from another car. A small oil spot in the driveway. The tire pressure light appearing, disappearing, then appearing again like it wanted attention. You ignored all of it. Not because you were stupid, because looking at a problem costs money. And money was already gone. The check engine light came on 3 weeks ago. You told yourself it was probably nothing. Then you told yourself you'd check it after payday. Then payday came, and the money already had names on it. Rent, insurance, phone, minimum payment, gas, late fee, another late fee, some tiny subscription you forgot existed, but apparently still believes in you. You didn't have $150 for a diagnostic. You definitely didn't have money for whatever came after the diagnostic. So you kept driving. You skipped the oil change. You told yourself the car was built tough. That wasn't confidence. That was a prayer with cup holders. Debt doesn't scream at first. It whispers. It says tomorrow will be better. It says you'll catch up next check. It says one overtime shift will fix it. One side hustle. One parlay. One good week. One miracle that arrives before the repo truck does. So you started looking for exits. Not real exits, just American exits. A credit builder app, a quick cash advance, a Discord group full of kids losing money on crypto and calling it research, a sports betting account you told yourself was just entertainment. The algorithm noticed. Of course it did. It saw you pause on a "fix your credit fast" video. It saw you search "sell plasma near me at 3 a.m." It saw you watch a man in a rented office explain why poor people stay poor, because they lack discipline. Your embarrassment stopped being private. It became inventory. Then it showed you the app, clean design, friendly colors, a name that sounded like it wanted to help. 200 instant advance. Just link your bank account. Just pay the 12 monthly fee. Just give them your data, your paycheck schedule, and the last little corner of your privacy you hadn't already sold. You clicked apply in a gas station parking lot, with one hand shaking and the other hand holding a taquito you couldn't afford. That's not financial freedom. That's buying 24 hours of oxygen at loan shark prices. And then came tonight. The sound from the engine wasn't subtle. It wasn't a warning. It was a metal-on-metal death rattle, like somebody threw a wrench into a blender and asked your future to pay for it. You pulled over. Smoke came up. The dashboard lit up like a Christmas tree for people with bad credit. The car dying at 90,000 miles isn't just a mechanical failure. It's a canon event for every subprime borrower who thought 28 APR was a financial strategy. Nobody cared about the car anymore. Not the gym bros, not the girl from the steakhouse, not the influencer with the fake watch, not the salesman, especially not the lender. The car stopped moving. The payment didn't. That's the ugly part. The car can't take you to work anymore. But the lender can still reach into your bank account. You call the towing company. They want 200 because it's late, and apparently suffering has surge pricing. You don't have 200. You have a maxed out Visa, a negative balance you're afraid to refresh, and a sub-shop punch card with 2 stamps left. So you call your mom, or your brother, or the one friend who still answers even though you owe him money. You whisper into the phone while semis shake the shoulder and throw dirty slush against your shoes. You explain that the car died. Then you explain that you still owe $30,000. Then you explain that the repair might be $8,000. And while you're saying it out loud, you hear how insane it is. You bought a car to stop feeling broke. Now you're begging for tow money next to it. That's the whole scam in one picture. You're 25 years old, crying over a machine that doesn't run, but somehow still owns the next 8 years of your life. The ride home in the tow truck is quiet. The driver doesn't say much. He doesn't have to. He's seen this movie. He's picked up the Chargers, the Challengers, the lifted trucks, the used BMWs with bald tires and fresh tint. He's seen every version of the same guy. Too much car, too little money, too much pride to say no. He knows you're not a king. You're a repo waiting for paperwork. You get back to your apartment and sit on the edge of the mattress. The room is dark. The heater rattles. The whole place smells like old food, laundry pods, and a life you keep promising yourself you're about to escape. You look at your phone. There's a notification. Not from the mechanic. Not from the lender. Not from anybody asking if you made it home. It's Instagram. A lifestyle influencer you follow just posted a picture of a private jet. The caption says, "If you aren't willing to suffer for your dreams will become the suffering." Hustle. No excuses. You look at the jet. Then you look at your bank balance. Still negative. America didn't steal your dream. It sold it back to you as a dead car with 96 payments, still breathing. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly how it was built to work. It took your need to be seen and turned it into monthly revenue for a lender that will never know your name. It took your fear of being average and turned it into an 8-year leash. You're not winning. You're just keeping the machine warm. Your shame has a business model. Your loneliness came with a checkout button. Tomorrow morning, you'll wake up with no way to get to work. You'll look out the window at the dead car. Then you'll look at the loan balance. Then you'll look at the credit builder app again. And the no money down car lease ads will already be waiting in your feed because the algorithm knows the car is dead. It knows you're vulnerable. It knows this is the perfect time to sell you the next mistake. Another loan, another car, another promise, another way to feel like you're not falling behind. You check your balance one more time. The screen goes dark. In the reflection, you see yourself. A man who bought a $60,000 lesson and still has a payment due Friday. The car is dead. The loan is alive. And the algorithm can't wait to show you what gets ugly next.